Good afternoon, hello everybody. Hello Norman, and happy birthday Betsy. Betsy being 6 today. Hello Diana, hello Diane. Welcome back for your second drawing class. Diane normally does watercolours on a Friday, but she's having a go at drawing again today. Hello Kate.
She's come back for a second.
But hello Norman. I don't want to be rude. I said hello to Betsy, but I haven't said hello to Norman, her dad. Hello Norman. Hi Dee. Hello Rosemary. Lovely to have you all with us. I've got the terrible threesome in the class today. I've got Sue, Robert, and Doris. So that's nice. And we've got Toadstools. I haven't done Fly Agaric because I always default to Fly Agaric Toadstools because they're so cute. So these are just normal Toadstools.
I like those ones. Have you seen those ones with like the netting underneath?
Yes.
You can watch them in high speed growing, and then this netting.
But I love the ones that are like turquoise. And there are others as well that when you cut them open, they are yellow and then they turn purple when it meets the oxygen. Can't eat them though.
Oh, I was just going to say they're poisonous.
Yeah, you can't eat them. They're just for looking at.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just for touching. All ready to fungi.
You're such a fun guy, Barry.
I am such a fun guy. Especially now there's not much room in the class. Hello Rosemary, welcome back. I don't know what happened there. Everything's fine here. Oh, I haven't put the bird song on. I've got it all ready. So we've had our wonderful expensive photocopier now for over 4 years, and it's just started to not work properly. We've got lovely rainbow stripes printing right across the paper, and we've got a part being ordered. It's all digital really. We've got it set up with the laptop so the photocopier suppliers can just look in on it and see what's going on. But when we say, hang on a minute, this isn't working, then they can just check their things. And he said, I've ordered you a part. And I said, well, how do you know what part? How do you know what to order?
From a distance.
It's very clever.
It is very clever. I just hope it's the right part when it gets here.
I'm flickering. I'm not flickering on my screens. Let me just see.
There was a lot of people moaning on Facebook last night that their internet keeps dropping in and out.
Facebook is being very naughty.
But I think a lot of
As a
people's
whole.
internets are playing up as well. One of the guys was on Talk and he said, is it just Talk? And then somebody else said, no, my BT's being exactly the
Oh
same.
well, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where they lived, where they were, but yeah. We're having a good old moan at internet.
Let me just hop on and see. What do you see? What I see? I hope you don't. Or I hope what goes on in your head doesn't go on. Well,
Well, that's what I always think. You know, if I ever met somebody who was a mind reader, they'd probably go completely bonkers.
oh, I know. Crazy. Crazy
Try to
time.
read my mind.
Right, so we're just going to use our normal HB
HB, bye-bye.
or 2B.
Okay, I can't talk now, I'm in the art class. I'll ring you when I get home. Okie dokie, darling. Bye-bye, love you.
2B or not to be.
Sorry, what pencil?
Your normal, your 2B if you've got it, or an HB.
I've got a 6.
You've got all your kit, haven't you, Diane, now? Didn't
My
you?
HP's
Didn't you?
looking a bit. No, look at the
Oh, I forgot. I haven't put it online yet, but we managed to get, because I know some of you were really into, and I can't run down and get it now. I've only just remembered the Derwent pencil erasers with the brush on the end.
Oh yeah.
these.
Yeah, ages ago we looked at
These, well, we haven't been able to get them in for nearly a year. And whether they've redesigned them or whether this one supplier has only got them in, we've got them in. They come as a 2-pack and you get a brush on the end. So it's an eraser. I don't find they sharpen wonderfully well at times. Not with the pencil sharpener. But
your fancy pencil sharpener.
yeah, they might work with a knife or something. But what you don't want is too much eraser, because otherwise it goes all wobbly, doesn't it? So I know some of you like the pencil erasers.
How
I'll
much are they
check.
retailing for, Barry?
I don't know. It's probably about £7 for the 2 or less. I can't remember. I'll try and get them online if I remember how to do it. I'll put them online. It's a 2-pack. but I know some of you like it. So I thought I'd remember. Oh, there's 8 of you now. Who's snuck in? Hello. Oh, it might be me. It's me that's snuck in because I'm watching it. I'm watching myself. So I'm very vain. I'm very vain. Oh, and for those of you in the room, we've got a new essential oil.
I thought I could smell different when I came in.
Yes, this one is called Focus by Neil's Yard. I went to a Neil's Yard event because my neighbour does it. It's called Focus, and it is, and it brings clarity of thought. It might be something novel for some of you, but
I'll let you know when it kicks in.
it's got rosemary, clove oil, a citrus thing, and a few other things in there. So it does smell quite nice.
I haven't noticed any.
So it's going to help you focus, Doris. It'll help you like you're in the zone.
I really need that today.
I
Babe.
Good.
do, but I'd say it's not happening just yet.
We sort you out. Have you spotted the little baby one?
Puppy one.
The little tiny baby brown one
yeah.
next to the one on the right. So there's technically 5 toadstools because we know we like odd numbers, don't we? You'll probably want a bit of graphite powder today, and you can borrow some.
Thank you.
I've got to order some more after having a massive glut of graphite powder where I had more graphite powder than I could shake a stick at. Got hardly any left now.
Why did we need
I think there's
graphite?
another baby one.
Is
Is there?
Yeah, I thought that.
Right down at the base of the
Oh
house.
yes,
That
there
little
is.
round bit at the same
There's
toadstool.
3 baby
Yeah.
ones
Is
actually,
there another one to its
Yeah.
left?
Left.
Yes.
One in front and one
and
on
then
the
there's
left.
one in front of the second one in from the right, left as
That
well
one
at the
left. Oh yeah,
bottom.
that sort of knobbly bit on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, isn't this exciting? Let's play Spot the Toadstool.
So hot the toadstool.
Spot the toadstool. So graphite powder will help to darken the background a lot quicker than just.
Why did we do it last week? Was it?
What were we doing the last time you were in,
No, I
Doris?
was ill,
You
wasn't
weren't
I? It was trees, wasn't it?
It was the one before the boy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't.
I was ill last week. wasn't
Yeah,
I?
it was those trees, Barry. Those ones.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Those
yeah,
ones.
bit of graphite powder.
When you did charcoal, didn't you?
Yeah.
With some people
Yeah,
The rest
I
of us
did
did.
charcoal.
did pencil and graphite powder.
Right.
Yeah, I saw.
Is this?
It's Jackie, and Jackie's about to leave. She should be charging me for overtime.
Hey, overtime, Jackie.
Does he pay? Question mark.
Yeah,
He does.
I do pay.
just left it there.
I am quite fair because she does do a lot of work at home. So if ever she can't get in on time, I still try to pay her normal hours to allow.
After as well, okay.
To allow for all that.
So he's a good employer.
Remember,
She's smiling.
you're currently employed by me.
Ask her that when Barry's not here and see,
Yeah,
see
he's
if you get
great.
the same answer.
It's great working here.
You do. You love it.
Yeah, it's a joy.
The joy.
I'm not even convinced.
How
She's
long's
been
the
here
post
now.
office
How
now?
long have you've been
About
working
8
for me?
years,
8.
isn't it?
No,
Can't be all that
White
bad,
Lion
then.
Walk. You started.
8
So that was
years.
2012.
I remember it well.
Nearly 10 years
There you go.
since
And you
Jackie's
know
been
what?
here.
I came here as a beginner and I'm still a rotten beginner.
I know, but it's
Okay,
in my
well,
interests
it's
to
Barry.
keep you a beginner, Doris, because I need the
Yeah.
money.
Coming.
If you're too good and you go off, then I've got competition. Then if you're too good an artist,
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
it's
to,
good set
I
up
was saying
as
to
a
Robert you
teacher
didn't like
yourself.
Betty.
Yes,
No.
your mother warned me against you,
yes.
Barry.
Do you know we did drawing on Monday morning, and it was a portrait of Betty White from the Golden Girls.
Really?
Well, I tried. Why I thought I could do a portrait in 45 minutes, I have no idea, and it just didn't work very well. Mrs. here decides she doesn't do it in the lesson. She gets home. I think I might do a Betty White portrait, she says.
Yeah, so I'll give it a go. I'd seen where.
So I was rather annoyed
I'd
because it
seen
looked
where
quite
the
good.
problems were with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Learn from his mistakes.
I had.
So
I did
you
have
know,
the benefit of
you can
learning
imagine
where-
how thrilled I was when I saw her work, trying to be supportive. Oh, well done.
Well done, Jackie. That's lovely.
Well done for being so good.
Good teacher, that's what it is. So I'm
Yeah.
going to the post office now. I'll put your sign up.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Jackie.
Bye. That does mean if we have a customer, Don't get very many of those to the pound anymore. Then I'll have to go and save. Right, so I don't really care about your toadstools, where you stick them and how you do them today.
That's a bit rude.
I just don't care. I don't care at all. Well, I just don't care. It'd be interesting. I think, would you say it's an organic thing that it's on, like a log or a bit of decayed wood, isn't it, or something?
Overcooked loaf of bread, maybe?
It could be.
Is that what your bread looks like when it comes out?
Yeah.
It looks like sourdough.
Overcooked
Sourdough that everybody used to make over lockdown, or banana bread,
Yeah.
because that's what everybody did over lockdown, isn't it? If in doubt, let's have some banana bread.
I heard about it, but I didn't do any.
So roughly, you know, it's about halfway, isn't it? This this whatever this is,
What, the sourdough?
the sourdough organic material. So we'll just do a bit of an undulation. It's going to look like an alien planet, the surface of Mars.
It looks like it's in two to me.
Well, it is, because you've got this extra V shape that comes down.
Yeah. There's a
That
big
the
crevice.
toadstools are on, aren't they? So we've got a little mini landscape going on here. Look, we've got some hills. Now I'm having the same issue this week,
It's like a natural little creature, isn't it, really?
aren't I? With me lights being too bright.
Oh, yeah, to see the...
But if I turn them off, then we've got the shadows of the ceiling lights. So I'm not quite sure what's been.
We've never had this problem.
We never had this problem. But was it me? Now, actually, do you know what? I've had to. The camera didn't work this morning, so I had to shove it in a different USB port. And it may be that the brightness needs to come down a fraction, because I don't like the shadows. Oh no, I've just turned that one off. There we go. So let me get the brightness down a fraction. We see that's the whole screen gone, isn't it? Saturation, would it be the saturation? What about that?
Saturation, isn't that when things get wet? Yeah.
Or bright or dull. I can't fiddle with that. I can't fiddle with that. Is that still too bright? Or is that better?
Yeah,
Look,
it's not
I've
too
got
bad.
stronger
You can
shadows
still
now.
You can see the pencil just
You can
about.
see the pencil lines just about. Oh, it could be the contrast. Let me fiddle with the contrast. The trouble is, I can't do this when I'm not teaching, because I can't tell what it's supposed to look like. I did test it out with a painting, and I thought, well, maybe that'll work. Figure video. Is there a contrast button? There is. Oh no! Look at that.
I
Oh,
can't see anything at all.
we don't want that.
It's far too flashy.
Let's save now. Right. I think that'll do. It just looks quite dark over this end.
Yeah, and there's just this like very, very bright bit on the left hand
Yeah.
side. That if you do anything in that area, if you can make it a little bit
You see,
harder.
I could stick that there, but then I can't see.
Yeah, now I can see. I don't know about the rest of them. But I can
Is that?
just
What about if the light was over this side? It's amazing, isn't it, how this one light can
make the difference.
make such a difference. Because, I mean, look how dark that is, and look how strong the shadows are. Sorry, everybody.
It's like our own special light show.
Yeah, Sue needs Blackpool. Right, so don't draw these shadows. Somebody will. These mushrooms are massive, actually. These mushrooms, toadstools, doesn't really matter.
But what if you're eating them?
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start with the one that's closest to us, which is the one that's about here. And the stem of that is almost 4 fingers tall, and it's just in that little dip in the V. It's very skinny base. Gets slightly wider, but it's really good because you don't have to worry about the oh, let me enlarge the screen for you in the room. Embiggen, yes. Embiggen the screen. There we go. Look at that. I'm going to just make it slightly taller. Yeah, I want it a little bit taller. I think it almost meets the top of that sourdough peak. But it doesn't. Wonky is good. So the actual, what's the top of a mushroom called? Cap. Thank you. The cap is almost 4 fingers wide. It's quite big when you think about it. Well, yeah, it's just over 3 fingers for me. Oh, I'm not quite sure what's going on in the tattoo studio. I think they've discovered clog dancing. And it's a thumb width. Sometimes he does that if he's excited and he hears something funny.
He just bangs his feet on the floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
The stem for that doesn't come out of the middle, does it?
Oh, is it not? I've got mine.
No,
okay,
it's
not. It's
slightly,
left,
it's
isn't
slightly
it?
on the left.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, right there.
No, left.
Left there.
And it doesn't go right the way up because you've got the gills there. This one's for the gills. Now it should look like a Tiffany lamp.
Of course it does.
Very organic at Art Nouveau. So for those of you that want to support local, Shop Happy has actually got a new sister site. Well, not support local, support small business. So Shop Happy have got a sister site called shoplocalonline.org. Shoplocalonline.org. And what's brilliant about that is that all of the Shop Happy towns all over the country are all under the one website. So you can just go on to shoplocalonline.org and type in greeting cards, and all of the shops that are on Shop Happy that sell greeting cards will have it there. So it's £3. I think it's £3.95 postage, unless we've had to supply different postage, because if you buy one of my paintings with glass, it's going to cost you a lot more. And then I think it's 50p each additional item or something like that.
So if you can't get it locally here, you can get it locally
In another town, yes. So instead of using the big corporate giants where they afford, you know, with their profits they build rockets to send them to the moon, like Mr. Bezos, you can support other town centre small businesses across the country. So it's kind of like Etsy but for the high street, which is quite nice. I've managed to shop around stuff that I can't get from town, and get them online there. So that's really nice. That's shoplocalonline.org.
The way my finances are going at the moment, Barry, I will not be shopping anywhere.
No, I know that feeling well. So less than a pencil width is the one behind it, apart, and then, oh, I don't know, it depends if you want to be really prescriptive. Almost 2 fingers down is where it crosses. I'm being a bit sketchy. And it widens out, and then also comes behind it there. And then it's about a finger width above.
There's lots of gills on that one.
You can. Because it's almost like a little parasol, isn't it? Curve the top there. Because what we want to do, we want to try to achieve... Mushrooms are and fungi, they're very delicate, aren't they? There's actually, and I don't know if it's still on Netflix, for those who have Netflix, there's a really interesting documentary on fungi, except they all call it fungi.
Yeah. Really?
all of them. And I thought it was just one person that just said it like that, but then everybody on the documentary was calling it fungi.
Is that what we're supposed to do now?
Well, no, I don't think so, because it's still
It's
fungus.
fungus.
Yes, fungus. It's a hard g.
Fungus.
So it's fungi.
They had substantial elements of two of the autumn watch on fungi.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the mycelium layer apparently that underneath the ground. It's
Well,
the it's
they
it
talk about that a lot.
that is what connects all life together, and it sends signals to plants and trees.
That's
So
how important they are in the whole
absolutely.
process
So
of
if there's and they're not one thing nor another the way their organic matter is, so they can't be classed as a specific thing, because it's almost like they're alive as well as them being a plant, and the way they send signals to other areas of the forest if there's a problem, and it will tell the trees on one side to send more moisture across the other side to keep that part of the forest alive. So this whole network that spreads miles underneath, it's all this mycelium layer or something like that. Tiny little veins, if you think about it, in a forest. It's absolutely phenomenal to watch. So I would really recommend watching it. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Life of Mushrooms or the Life of Fungi on Netflix. There won't be very many documentaries on Netflix like that.
Loads to trawl through to see if we can get the right one.
Right, so this one starts about a little finger width in on that one, and almost 3 fingers out from that one. I mean, that's huge, a huge one.
I read a really interesting article about magic mushrooms yesterday.
Oh, did you? And it's about a thumb width. The opening underneath is about. I think I need to come in a little bit there. But as you know, this is all just a bit of an idea. Give us some. You're right there, Doris.
Want a glass of water? Okay.
It's a nice little bit of a chest infection I've had.
Yeah, she's been with you for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going.
Good. And then it's about a pencil width dome on the top. Now, some of you, I imagine, will do really well with this.
You say that every week.
Well, I'm right. I never say who exactly, but I said Rosemary would do a good portrait, and she did, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
But I was really impressed, by the way, everyone, with your little boy,
Online, I keep forgetting when I get home.
because they all look like children, didn't they? I mean, we did say it doesn't matter if it doesn't look exactly like that child, but they all look like
A
children.
child.
Yes, they didn't look like
The-
shrunken old people.
No. I must start putting mine online again. 'Cause as soon as I get home, I put my bag on the dining room chair,
And then you forget.
and I pick it up again today,
I know. I'm the same.
and I forget.
We're going to darken the background. Although that maybe that needs to go there a little more, because that one is slightly more central, isn't it? And then we've got that little, yeah, it is slightly chunky, a chunky monkey mushroom. Now this little one here, Rosemary worked out it was a girl because of the button fastening.
What, that little boy?
Yeah,
There's a girl?
yeah.
Where is she? Where is she? Where
So
is she?
that makes sense, I suppose, with the buttons.
I never thought.
No, I never thought. Well, we said about children how hard it was to you know. So we've got a little 2-finger high stem, and then a thumb width high cap. Actually, it's exactly the width of my thumb as well.
Oh, that's a little sort of, knobby one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a not fully developed. Fantastic fungi, thank you.
Or fungi, even.
or fungi. Thank you, Norman. Fantastic fungi. I didn't watch all of it because it did annoy me that they called it fungi all the time.
Were they foreign
I
people?
American.
Oh well then, it explains everything.
They have a different word. I went on TikTok the other day, and there was a lady from South America, Southern America, like Texas with the drawl.
Or southern states.
Yeah, southern states, and they do this thing on it where they ask you to say a word and they'll say the word and they want to hear what you sound it like. And she could not say Worcestershire sauce for the life of it. It was hilarious. Worcestershire, sure. And it is difficult, I suppose. Like Bicester Village.
I met this guy from the southern states of America on holiday once, and he was talked in such a drawl. But I by the end of the sentence, I'd sort of like.
I love listening to it though.
But you can't have a conversation.
No.
It's just y'all.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm from the Black Country, and when I worked in the kitchens of a carvery, there was a girl who was one of the waitresses who worked there. She came from a different town in the Black Country where they speak very broad Black Country, very broad, and even I struggled to understand her because she said it so fast. Because that's a Brummie accent is very slow,
Yeah.
a bit like you were saying. Birmingham is a drawn out version of a Black Country, and Black Country is very, very fast. And I was trying really hard to keep pace with what on earth she was on about, plus with all the phrases and colloquialism.
Can we have an interpreter?
Yeah. Right, so we want a bit of a gap of about almost 2 fingers, and then we've got our other little one here. I've not done the baby ones yet. About 2 fingers for the stem. It's amazing, isn't it, actually, how the little stubby one has a fatter stem than the others.
He's put all his growing into his stem.
Yeah.
Not into his umbrella bit.
He'll blossom soon. And this one is nearly just over 2 fingers wide. And we can only see a little of the underside of this one. And this is a beautiful domed one, isn't it? Each town has its own dialect in the Isle of Man, Norman says, and it's only 30 miles, 9 by 30. That's interesting, isn't it? I do love accents. I find it fascinating. So I love those TikToks to hear how people say basic words that you take for granted. And I suppose when it's in your native language, it sounds funny hearing someone else say it, isn't it? But when I suppose it sounds awful to them when we try to pronounce their words. Right, so there's the tiny little baby ones. There's a little baby one there, and I'll let you have free rein on how big you do the babies. But even that little baby one's got more of a cap than the little stumpy one. And then there's another little one.
It's a little stumpy one because it's in between those others. Didn't feel it could
Grow.
grow out as much. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, that could be the case. And then there's another little one here, isn't there? But it almost looks like a little antenna. Oh, I've got a customer, I think. Oh no, they've gone.
Oh. Almost.
Almost. Sometimes people browse, but sometimes people expect there to somebody just right behind the counter and they're not willing to wait
No.
30 seconds.
For somebody to come.
Right, so. Or also they might be looking for the crystals. Not that my shop looks much like a cellar.
Oh no, you actually have to go up a step to get into it, so it's.
No, Rosemary, your accent's... Well, depends. If you've been talking to me, your Birmingham accent comes out. But other than that, you've got... yeah, you don't have much of a specific accent.
I can remember the first time I went to Birmingham.
Was it the last time?
No, honestly, I just sat in a cafe with my friend. My friend sat in Coalfield,
Yeah.
and we went to a cafe somewhere in Birmingham, and I just sat there completely mesmerised by the accents all around me. It was kind of...
The big determining factor between Black Country and Birmingham is a Black Country person will say laugh or loff.
Mm-hmm.
A Brummie will say laugh.
Okay.
But we will generally say bath. We all say bath and path and grass and glass. But that's sometimes, if you're not sure, ask them to say the word laugh. And Birmingham will laugh, Black Country will laugh or loff. Yo, I'm having a loff, eh, yeah? Billy Connolly's 79 today. I didn't realise he was that old.
Didn't realise I was older than you.
Well, yeah, see?
He was much older than you.
Older. I think he looks a lot older with his... What is it he's got? Multiple MS, yeah.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I always thought he was older than me.
Lots of...
So that's kind of...
That's kind of it, isn't it?
That's kind of it. Let's go home. Bye, everyone.
That was quick.
I would never like to get rid of you so quickly.
I was going to ask you about it. How are we going to... As you can see, I need to have my glasses done. All the little pleats underneath.
Yeah.
Call them pleats, but how are we
The
going
gills,
to...
yeah.
Is that what they are?
Gills.
Gills.
Yeah. Well, basically, the other issue is they're cream, aren't they, the toadstools? And the gills are also cream, whereas some mushroom toadstools have got greyer or darker ones. So we're going to have to go darker with the lines of the gills and then smudge it so it's darker. But the background's going to have to be really dark
I see.
in order to make the light colours look light. Yes. Yeah, I think...
Just a little bit.
Yeah. What I do though, for the benefits of the camera, Robert's picked up an embossing tool. What I think would be good is to if we shaded the underside in a light grey and then embossed and then went darker, because then your embossing would be light, not white. So we could do that while we've got the HB or 2B. I'm just gonna shade my gills very lightly, but following the direction, the contours, so it's like a little parasol or a little umbrella. And I'll do all of them like that. Because there's a few traily bits on the first toadstool we drew. There's like a couple of dangly bits, isn't there? So we'll add a few dangly bits and then we can emboss those as well.
Oh, those bits.
Yeah, there's a few dangly bits running down the stem. Did we call it a stem? Stalk.
Stalk the mushroom, isn't it?
Parkinson's,
Actually,
Janet.
it's
Oh,
whatever you can
it's
say
Parkinson's.
without getting confused.
I know he's got something, but I don't know
Yeah,
which. Yeah, Parkinson's.
There's a doctor saw him walk across a hall in a airport and recognised him and spoke to him and said, I think we need to go and see your doctor. And he recognised by his walk,
Just by his walk.
Really?
Amazing.
and that's how he found out.
And
I
that
did-
happened, actually, sorry for
That's
cutting
okay.
you. That happened to my nephew.
Really?
Yeah. And he said to my sister, he's so bad and he was just entering his teenage years. He said he'll be in a wheelchair before the year is up.
Blimey.
He'll die by the time he's 25. He's got a very rare, what's it, of his muscular, whatever it's called.
Wow.
And he was right.
Although I did see a video with someone. I don't think it was Parkinson's, but they've got really bad tremors,
Yeah.
and what they did is they had a device that plugged in on the side of their head,
Yeah.
and he turned it off to try and eat cereal with a spoon, and it was falling off all over the place, and he flicked the device back on, and within seconds he could eat normally. It just totally stopped the tremors, but I don't know if that was Parkinson's or not. But it's amazing the developments in technology.
Is that what that's for?
Yeah, I think
I see
so.
a little
Yeah.
boy today.
Although sometimes there's a cochlear implant that will be for
Oh, really?
hearing.
'Cause he had a little box here.
Yeah, that's hearing.
Yeah,
Oh, is
yeah.
it?
Hearing,
He
yeah.
was about 10.
Did he have his hair shaved?
No, he had it on. I didn't see him shaved hair.
I think
Yeah, my
technological
nephew.
advancements.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
nephew died just
Mind
when the
blowing.
doctor said he would.
I've now invested in that my son's encouragement in a set of earphones which you don't put in your ear.
Oh, they go round the outside.
You put them on the
Yeah.
bones behind your ear.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. Absolutely
Really?
brilliant. Yeah, and they're called aftershock.
Wow.
And so you can they're Bluetooth, so you can mow the lawn, mow things, and listen to something on the radio or a book or whatever. But you can be working with these on, and somebody comes in and you can hear.
So you can hear what they say as well. So they go, what, here?
Yeah, behind your ear.
Just behind my ear.
Wow.
I'll remember. I'll bring them in sometimes. If I look.
I've got some
Wow.
cheap versions of those, which are they're all right because I can't have things in my because I've got psoriasis in my ears and it just hurts. So I've got some that you hang over your ear.
Wow, I'll have to look at that. Right. Have you got an embossing tool, Doris?
What's an embossing tool?
Looks like that. It looks like a darning needle.
Oh. I
Will you
did
have
not
one?
buy it except
I'm
two.
sure you did. I would say it's wooden. Is that one?
Oh, I don't know, Barry.
I've got one. I've got a
Oh,
spare
is that
one.
one? Yeah,
That's
okay.
one. You're all right.
Thank you for the offer.
That's okay.
So now I'm going to emboss my gills.
Find mine first. Far too much in this pencil.
We've just had
When
in.
you get home then, young
I've had a
lady.
little salt out.
We've just had in some canvas pencil cases, and I was using some blank canvas pencil cases. I think they're £2.50 each, and then I was using Posca pens to decorate.
That's nice.
Is that where you got an idea for today?
No, I just love these Toadstools. So you have to put a bit of card because they do seep through. But I just used the paint marker pens to paint with them.
Oh, yeah.
That was
yeah.
quite fun.
So, what are we doing with this?
So we're embossing the gills where we've done our shading,
Okay.
because basically what will happen is we'll go a bit darker with the shading of the gills, and then where we've embossed will be a lighter line.
Didn't put me board underneath, Barry. You didn't remind me.
Oh no, I've got several. I just had to check, to be honest, because I thought, did I?
So I'm going to have toadstool gills on whatever we're doing next week.
I probably will have them. Never mind, I'm not bothered. Do I look
Maybe we can
bothered?
incorporate.
Am I bothered?
Do I look bothered?
You'll have mushroom gills on Wardington Church.
That's all right.
Do I? I don't look bothered though, do I?
No.
No, of course not.
Read my eyebrows.
Look at my face. Look at my face. Bothered?
Scary to think how long those characters have been around.
Do you know what? I never used to watch them. It was my kids that got me. They'd have a look at it, and their sayings they would use on and off.
Yeah.
all day, and I picked it up from them. Do I look bothered? I say it to them sometimes, and I think, oh, I shouldn't have said that because they ain't supposed to do it. But yeah, I didn't even watch her programme.
It's funny, isn't it, how certain catchphrases come in.
Yeah.
And last, I mean, if I said to you, all nice to see you, to see you, nice.
No.
Bruce.
Forsyth.
Forsyth.
Yeah, Brucey.
How long's
Two
he
for a
been
pair.
dead now?
Not in this game.
Must be about 6 years.
I don't know. Let me quickly Google.
Ain't it good to have Google?
I know,
Find
what do we do
everything
without?
out, Yeah.
What did we used to have to ferret around in your brain to try and remember?
2017. So yeah, it's been nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember. You know, somebody was saying this about the internet. The internet's only been around since the mid-90s, and Google wasn't around then. It was like Ask Jeeves. Remember the Ask Jeeves thing, where you had a butler to ask what things were, and you had all of that horrible dial-up
Oh,
sound.
yeah. And then nobody could use the phone.
Yeah, get off the phone. Or I need to do my homework. Doing a few little ridges on the mushroom stalk, just on the upper parts. Oh, some of them are quite ridgy anyway, aren't they? Ridgy? Have ridges. Because they can't be ridge-like, because they are ridges.
I like that little one.
Right. How's all of yours looking?
Mushroomy.
Oh, I'll show you what we did last night. We did, because it's available on Catch Up, not on Artstream yet, but we did a nice snowy track with rays of light.
Yeah, that's lovely. Like
Oh,
that.
yes. I like that.
It was definitely one that you had to think long term with, because it didn't look anything like it was supposed to at the beginning.
When you done the light coming through the trees, did you just take your rubber?
Yeah, the light through the trees, you drew everything in fully, and then you use a piece of paper to create an angle, and then you use your putty eraser and just dab, and then you switch over and create another angle, and then dab the other side. Right, I have a customer, so I will nip down, and we'll work on the background. So you'll need some graphite powder and some, what's it stuff? What's the cotton wool? Thank you. Be back in a second.
Okie dokie, fair enough. Oh dear. Oh dear, dearie, dearie, dearie me. Oh dear. I had a nice chat with a couple of your mates the other day, Robert.
So I am heard.
Did you?
I get reports.
Can't get away with anything, can you?
Why, one of them was hamstring my wife.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I suppose she's going to tell you then, isn't she? It was good. Nice. I was nice about you then, wasn't it? I didn't say anything horrible.
Grateful for that. Always.
I like it when you come in. It's always nice to have a chat. Good. Oh, don't stop.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'll be asleep in the corner if you do that.
I don't sleep well at night. I'm always awake by 3 or 4.
Oh, my
my
goodness.
mum's the same.
Yeah, I never sleep afterwards. I don't go back to sleep. I just lay there awake.
Mum gets up, makes herself a cup of tea.
Oh, I did that this morning only. I made coffee. I don't drink tea very often. Just occasionally. But I did get up and make myself a coffee. Took it back to bed and...
That's what she does, because then so sometimes she tucks down again, like about 6 o'clock, and gets like an hour.
Yeah,
before she
I need to
gets
do
up.
that. I'm wide awake.
I can do that at 8 o'clock.
Can you? Still, they say when you're older you don't need as much sleep. You don't,
And then
you're not
you
as energetic as what you
No,
were
and then
when
if you
you're
can have an
young.
afternoon snooze, it sort of all evens out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Never mind.
dear. Look at that bird.
Looking forward to Friday. I might get lay in on Friday. We'll see.
What's today? Oh, it's
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I had to wake up this morning and think, oh, what day is it
What day is it
today?
Well, for
Because
some
every day's the same, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
To a
except
certain
I go to,
extent,
except I know which days it is because I go to work. But this week I decided to swap Friday to Monday because one of the girls needed to do something on Monday. So I worked Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Worked this morning and I'm working tomorrow. And I just don't ever tend to do that long a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, now I know why I don't.
Exhausted, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, they won't have me in the workforce. I just mess everything up.
No,
And they say at your age you should be sleeping. I'm going back to sleep.
I'm sure I should be. I'm sure I should be hibernating over the winter months.
I don't particularly want to hibernate. I want to know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
But, you know,
Well, it
there are
depends.
times I want rest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, with all the bad news on at the moment, I could just do with like, wake me up when
When
it's
it's
some
over.
good news. Let me know.
Yeah. Yes, it's all bad news at the moment.
Ooh, it's a daisy. Is that what you had last week then? Chest infection?
Yeah. Well, it was bad last week,
Mm-hmm.
but the week before I felt it coming on.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recognise it. I thought, oh, it'll go away. Oh,
If I ignore it, it'll go away.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, they sent me for chest X-rays, and they
Mhm.
said, "Oh, we want more. We want another one middle of December because we're worried it's cancer, lung cancer."
Oh.
So I'm not sure what's going on at the moment,
Oh.
but I've been painted up, ready for treatment. So I think to myself, well, they're sure they know what it is. They're just keeping me guessing. So at the moment, I just let them get on with it.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know. And you can survive it. I'm not bothered if you don't. It does worry me because I've never smoked in all my life.
Well, yeah.
I've never smoked. And yet one cheery chap up Oxford said, well, you can get lung cancer without smoking, Mrs. Mullins. I thought, oh, you're cheerful.
Yeah, thanks for that piece of information. That's really cheered me up, though.
Well, I just looked at him and said, I really didn't need to
To
know
know
that,
that,
did I?
exactly. Thanks for
But the
that.
thing that worries me most is I can't stop coughing.
Yeah.
I've had 2 lots of antibiotics and I've just not stopped
Oh,
coughing.
right, yeah.
So,
But then again, they say that a lot of these antibiotics now, we're building up resistance to
Well,
them,
yeah.
don't they? So,
I had one that I have never heard of before.
Oh, really?
And I have never seen. It was jet black.
oh, right, okay.
It was in a plastic case about that big
Uh-huh.
and it was all like black, looked like black powder in it. And the cellar, or whatever you call it, the plastic
Yeah.
was black as well.
Maybe
But
they're
when
having
you
to...
shook it, it moved and it looked all black inside and I thought, oh. And it was DIOX and something else. Yeah, and I've never heard of
Or
it.
maybe
and
they're
I
having to use different ones to
Possibly.
try and...
didn't get rid of the cough though. Never mind.
He's back.
Do I look bothered?
You're still not bothered.
She's still not
I'm
bothered.
still not bothered. Until I know for sure, I'm not going to worry
She's not
about
bothered. So did you ever get that lecture? Did you manage to download it?
It won't let me down, so it's
Oh,
only
it's fine.
available on Facebook.
Okay.
And I think it's definitely because of the YouTube video. Because there was a bit of music at the start and the
Yes, it
end.
was, yeah.
Right, I'm just going to shove a bit of charcoal.
You're actually shoving it on the actual
well-
on the thing. Okay.
Barry, you're
Ah.
messing up your paint, your drawing. Look
I
at
was
you.
just going to put it on a bit
Do you
of
want
wood
any
and
of it?
switch
Well, I haven't got anything like
You
that.
can-
I was
you can
going
have
to
a-
do a pencil.
You can, it just takes a long time.
Yeah.
I was putting mine on
See.
the cotton wool and then blobbing it.
Well, I was, but I want this a bit darker.
Oh, we'll see how it goes.
So,
Let's have some later, Barry. Don't worry about it.
have a think about
Yeah,
it.
I'll
make a
Yes,
mess.
see if his looks awful and then decide not to do it.
That's why I do a lot of stuff. I make the mistakes so you
Well,
lot can
I
go.
might ask that kind lady next to me. She's putting hers, and it's all spongy looking. Oh, just look at that.
Spongy
Yeah,
looking.
I might borrow a bit of cotton wool.
Well, I'm using cotton wool, but I haven't put it on my cotton
No,
wool
I put mine on the cotton wool.
because I really wanted
So that
it
made a
nice.
difference, didn't it?
Depends how dark you want to go. Do you
Yeah.
want to go really dark?
I like it dark.
And I might put some more on then.
Dark.
It's all black. It's all black.
Like my soul.
Oh, I'm sure you're not like that, Barry.
Nah, not on a Wednesday.
Just at the weekends, bank holidays.
Yeah. I think I might have put too much on.
Ah, here we go.
Oh well, share what you don't want then, Barry.
Here we go. Now he tells us.
Well, it's just
Now he tells us.
going all over the place. But that's not a bad thing.
It's
It's
not
not
just
if you can go over the stalks, is it really? Because you want to leave them, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, you've gone over a mushroom though, haven't
I've only gone over a hint of a bit
Is
of
Rosemary
mushroom.
doing this?
Yeah, Rosemary, are you participating in the mess? I'm just tapping here around me fungi. And I've still got loads on here.
I must bring some cotton wool and buy some charcoal, because twice we've done this
Graphite
now.
powder is
Is
is your
It's not
friend.
charcoal, is it?
Graphite
Crushed-
powder.
Ah. I should
Right.
have to buy some and put
Here.
a piece of
I'm
cotton
getting
wool on.
covered.
Oh,
If-
thank
if
you,
it's
Barry.
thumb.
If Rosemary comes back and says she's not dirty, I'm
Rosemary-
honestly.
Do you realise, Rosemary, that my whole aim in these lessons isn't actually to teach anyone how to draw, it's just to get you to get really dirty hands. That's all I exist for now.
That's a primary objective.
It is.
It's to make Rosemary get dirty.
And you?
Well, I do enjoy it. I think it's important to become at one with your art supplies.
I agree with that actually. To become one with what you're drawing.
Yeah. Think like a toadstool.
Oh, well, that's easy. Keep them in the dark and feed them.
Yeah.
What's it?
Messy is good, Diana says.
That's what they do in
We
mushrooms.
grew mushrooms once
Did ya?
in a dark cupboard. Yeah, my husband wanted to try. He was always into growing things.
And were they all right to
He
grow?
was desperate to grow these mushrooms, and it was a bag that you bought, and you could do something with it, and then put it in the dark.
Mhm.
You don't have to water it or anything. And there was loads of mushrooms
Oh,
coming.
okay. I was going to say, did it work?
Definitely. Oh, Barry, mine looks like a different picture all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because you asked at the beginning, didn't you, before we went live, how are you going to get them to look light?
Yeah. So you reckon? Do you reckon
Oh.
you went too dark then, Barry, or do you think?
No, I don't think I have gone too
do you
dark.
think that's not dark enough?
I think that will be dark enough, actually.
Will be dark?
Don't forget, mine is accentuated because I'm on TV.
Okay. And are you using your little?
I'm smudgy sticking. I'm not smudgy sticking my bottom
Excuse me.
because I've just dusted it over the
Oh,
sourdough.
yeah, you've done bits.
It's because I had so much left over.
Okay.
Have we got to do the bottom bit?
If you want, because we're gonna add texture to it, but I just thought it'd be nice to have a bit of colour, so at least then I can determine what's fungi and what's sourdough and what's background.
Mushrooms on sourdough. There you go.
Yes, what a beautiful recipe.
Put that on the menu.
Wow, look at that.
Janet's blowing bits off her iPad, but then realising it's actually what's on my screen. You can keep blowing, but it ain't going to shift
Ain't
it.
gonna make any difference. Bless her.
Wow.
Oh, this bit here, probably. Yeah. How filthy are you, Rosemary?
We need to know.
Oh, no, thank you, then. It's not as dark as yours, Barry, but
Well, that's all right.
there we go, won't it?
So while I've got a filthy smudgy stick, I'm just going to lightly go over my gills. but it is nearly cup of tea time. Your favourite time of the lesson.
I think that's all I come for.
Somebody else said that the other day on Friday.
Oh. I'm pleased with that.
Good.
Is it time to stop now then? I'm pleased with that. Now I'll just leave then.
I'm absolutely
Just
filthy.
let it settle. I
Or-
believe in doing something and then letting it settle.
Or as I'm absolutely filthy now. Or as we'd say in the Black Country, riffy. Riffy.
Riffy.
Riffy is filthy.
Oh, okay. Absolutely riffy.
But you have to elongate the Y, so it's riffy.
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 So it's not IE, it's a Y in the bottom.
Yeah, it's a Y, and then but it's pronounced like 17 E's. So it's like riffy. I'm ever so riffy. Slight grubbiness in sight from Rosemary.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't got any dirty fingers.
Oh, this isn't on. See, Rosemary always sits on this table in class, and she always looks across at me being covered in graphite, and there she is, pristine. Honestly, she could wear a white dress.
Do you want that?
Thank you.
Is
And,
that okay? That's
that's
enough,
good.
isn't it? That's dark.
Yeah.
No.
She could wear a white dress and it wouldn't ever get covered in pencil. She honestly, I don't know what she does.
Good for her.
So I like it when the lessons call for a bit of grubbiness, and she gets grubby too. Actually, it is 3 o'clock.
Grubby.
Thank you. She always tells me,
Really?
yeah, always tells me, don't forget your bit of paper to lean on. Clearly, I haven't done that, have I, Rosemary? But I'm going to be working on the.
Should have.
I'll work on the texture of the sourdough after coffee, and then we'll work on the toadstools.
Okey cokey then.
Right. So, Sue, what are you having?
I'm having hot chocolate.
An hot
please.
chocolate.
Hot chocolate, please, Barry.
Could
Doris,
I just have a cup of tea?
a cup of tea, and Robert, a white Americano. I'll be
A
back in
small
a
one.
second.
I don't
small
want a
cup
mug,
of tea.
just a small
Yeah.
cup. Thank you, Barry.
A small cup of tea. Oh dear. Here we go.
I know. You make me young.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I know Wednesday is Shetland on the telly. Tonight. I love a bit of Shetland.
Oh, do you? I've never seen that.
Oh, it's a terrible place.
Is it?
Terrible.
Yeah, they have at least 2 murders a
It
week.
well, it's a bit like Oxford, isn't it?
We just don't get told about
Yeah.
Oxford.
I'm beautiful at the same time.
Yes.
Have you ever been, Sue?
No, I haven't, but I'd love to because I love watching that programme.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
Oh,
Do you really?
Mm.
Oh no, I've never watched it.
I watch it.
I sometimes, living on my own, I don't like to watch too many gruesome
No,
things, you
that's
know.
true.
You know.
Yeah. Well, there's enough character in it.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
characters.
It's just if I can stay awake.
What time's it on then?
9 o'clock.
No.
Oh, yeah, by then you'll get tired.
Yeah, I'm a bit dodgy by then.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, it just fascinates me. The whole community thing and how I don't know, just because they are so sort of isolated, and yet they all seem to. Well, they don't get on that well because they get murdered. But you know, in real life, there's a real community spirit kind of feeling about the whole place. And yeah. I'd like to go and
It's like
see
when
what
I
it's
lived
like.
in London as a girl. Everybody knew everybody in
Mm.
your street,
Yeah.
and it was if someone was hurt, you'd all get
Rally
together,
round,
yeah.
yeah.
And it was the same in the street behind us and in the street, but we didn't know them and we didn't know them
No,
living
you were in
behind
your
us.
own
It was
little-
in our, they were like streets of bubbles with where everybody knew more or less
Yeah.
one another.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and all the kids played together and all that
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Where,
round us.
where
Oh,
did you live?
I lived in West Stratford.
Oh, right.
Stratford and West Ham were
Stratford East.
yeah. But the thing was, rounders. every night after school, after tea, we'd go out for an hour and everybody would get 2 teams going and
So
it was
in the street-
round us.
In the street or in
Yeah,
the
in the
park?
street. No, in the street. No, mother wouldn't let us go further than the street.
In the street.
No, it was a bit dangerous. The nearest park was quite a long way off. And, you know, there was 2 main roads to cross to
Oh,
get
right,
to
yeah.
it, and there was a lot of young ones. And so if you incorporated them into the game, it was...
And there wasn't so much traffic around then, probably
No,
as well. The
actually,
roads weren't quite so
I hate to
busy.
say it, I mean, I am getting on in years, but it was awesome parks, no day. And those big feet of them horses,
Oh, yeah,
God,
I can
honest,
imagine.
get one of them on you,
Yeah.
you'd never walk again. Yeah, the brewery used to have a horse and car, the dustman had a horse, dragging. Milkman,
I
yeah,
can remember
yeah.
my dad helped the milkman. He had a horse and
I lived for
Right.
8 years in Romford.
Oh yeah,
It was
that was up the Roman Road.
the locals all called Essex, but
Yeah.
it wasn't Essex at all.
Yeah, my husband came from Essex, Grays.
that's
But
where I
yeah.
come from.
Oh,
Grays.
did you?
Yeah, that's where I grew up.
Yeah, Blackshots Lane.
Blackshots Lane, that's exactly where I lived. Whereabouts?
Oh,
Oh my God,
150.
82.
Oh my giddy aunt. You live the other side of the shop.
We lived just down by the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know where you mean. Yeah,
Illuminate.
yeah.
That is
Isn't
weird. Isn't that weird?
Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
Mullins, you might have known
Mullins.
the
I
girls.
lost my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mullins.
Their mum and dad was Leo and Richard,
Mhm.
or Dick as he was called. There was 4 of them, 3 girls and a boy.
How old would the girls and boy be?
Well, my husband would be the same age as me,
Mhm.
in the 80s,
Mhm.
and his sister was about 4 years younger than him, so she'd be late 70s, and then his twins, there were twins,
Mhm.
Molly and Mavis, they would be around 70.
Yeah, 'cause my mum's 83, so she'd have been similar age to.
To my Michael.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'll have a word.
Isn't that strange?
I know. When you said Blackshots Lane, I was like, my God. Blast from the past.
150 they used to.
150. Yeah, that wouldn't have been that far up actually, would it? Right from 82.
No, 100, same size.
Yeah, same side.
And my mother-in-law was related to the chap that used to own the bread shop there.
Oh, Baird's
Yeah.
Bakery. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mum used to work for Baird's Bakery.
So she maybe would know. Have
Yeah.
known her.
Yeah, mum used to, because they used to do outside catering, and she used to do outside catering with them and stuff. And because I can remember when I was little, they had a place down actually in the town as well.
Oh yeah.
And they, I can remember playing with all the little coffee cups and
Oh,
saucers,
yeah.
because mum used to take me to work with her sometimes, and playing with like pretending they were dolls, cups and saucers,
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
out the back while she was doing whatever she had to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably would have known.
Yeah. Oh,
Michael would have been in his 80s now.
yeah. Michael Mullins, I shall ask him.
Because the 3 girls are still down there as far as I know.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Well, yeah.
You see, my mum moved away, so I don't get back there very often.
No.
I haven't got that many people down there anymore.
The twins live in near Corrie something because they got a new house. When they were married, they lived with my mother-in-law for a few months and got a new house. They were all building new houses in Corrie something, which was a place near Grays,
Mhm.
just a little ride out. It's part of Grays really. But the older sister, the one that was about 4 years younger than my husband, but she got a house in Lee's Way.
Oh yes, yeah.
Do you know
Yeah, it's
Lee's
different
Way?
place, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, thank you.
We've just found out that Dorothy's husband
Yeah.
lived in the same road as me.
Oh no, really?
That's weird.
In
Small
Essex.
world,
Thank
isn't
you.
it?
Barry.
There's a little bit of genealogy here.
Well, that's fine.
They lived at 150 and we lived at 82.
Well.
You live near the school? No, thank you.
We live, yeah, not far from, we all went to Deanholm School,
Yeah.
just round the
Near
corner.
the school, yeah.
And then
It's
we
a
have
small
the playing field
world.
as well, just round the corner as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And the swimming pool, civic pool.
Right, you'll probably just see my cup merging in the bottom there.
No, I can't
I know, it's clever, isn't it? It's right there,
Oh,
but you can't see it. It's just off the camera, which is fine. Let me have a
I need
biscuit.
new glasses so I wouldn't see it.
Let me have my biscuit.
Have a biscuit, Harry. And then you can get.
But it's really dark there, isn't it? That's the darkest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the heart of the crater.
Now, the trouble is with professional photography like this, is that there's not necessarily one singular light point, because they often will have dark lights and angular lights, won't they?
Talking of photography, Barry, have you been to our photography exhibition?
I haven't yet, and Dale was in the other day
Okay.
to get a. Because you get our pink pig books for
Oh
you.
yeah, for the writing the comments in.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've seen the poster online, it looks really good.
It's really good. I haven't looked at it all myself yet. We had one lady come in on Saturday, and she came out after like half an hour and she said, I've reached saturation point, I'm going to have to come back another day.
How many pictures are in there?
Oh God, I would like to say.
A lot.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Hundreds.
Not 100, I wouldn't have said. But the thing is, if you really look at them, I get sort of like halfway down a wall and then I go away and then I come back and look again. So it depends how much, you know.
Is it Photographer of the Year?
It's wildlife.
Wildlife Photographer of the Year. Yes, it is graphite and biscuit, Janet.
And you've got some biscuit crumbs on there as well now.
And in my mouth I've got graphite.
Add a
So,
bit
you know,
extra.
it's fine, you can eat graphite. Apparently they say you can eat a lump of graphite a day and it won't affect you. I'm not going to test the theory out.
In what way might
Well,
Because aren't charcoal biscuits supposed to be good for indigestion?
yeah, I think some charcoal can be, but excessive charcoal, like charcoal on your burnt burgers, isn't supposed to be that good for you,
No,
is
that's
it?
just and toast as well. It's not
Yeah.
supposed to, toast is not supposed to be that good, is it?
But charcoal tablets. I like a bit of charcoal.
Who puts charcoal on? Did you say toast or what?
Well, it's only if you burn it.
When
if
you
you
get
burn
them
it,
burnt bits on toast.
The burnt bits isn't supposed to be good, but you can have charcoal tablets to help with your digestion and stuff.
Really? Oh, I don't think my stomach
I have
does.
peppermint instead.
Do you? Yeah.
Mm.
I think I will.
So I'm going with my 9B.
Sure, it comes down to a choice.
But I
What are you
do
doing, sorry?
9B.
9B.
I do wonder if that's why pregnant women. We were talking about cravings, weren't we, Sue?
Crave charcoal
Or coal.
coal, yeah.
9B.
9B, or whatever your darkest one is.
9B.
What's your darkest, Doris?
I'm still going through the H's.
So we
I've
just
got a 6B. I've got a 3B. Sounds like a 3B, didn't it?
got 3B.
Yeah, it'll
Got a
be it.
sketching F. I don't
Oh,
know.
no,
Sounds
it-
bad, but I
A
don't.
sketching F. No, we don't want a sketching F. It'll be your 6B that you want.
What's a sketch in F?
An F is a fine. It's new. It's only been out. It wasn't around when I was teaching originally, so it is a fairly new pencil.
Oh, I've had these since I've been coming to you. Pat.
Yeah.
How many years is that?
About 8, 9.
I
No.
came as a beginner and I still haven't moved on yet.
Good.
Barry's using new in a very loose way.
New as in the grand scheme of life, new.
Oh, I see.
Considering pencils have been around since the 1700s, F has only been around.
Okay.
And I think it stands for fine. And so it would sit between a B and an HB,
Okay.
I think.
Now it's got to be dark at the back.
Yeah. This is going to look more like a volcano once I've finished with
Well, I
it.
think that's what I was thinking it looked like. You know, the crater of a volcano.
Slightly lighter at the top, but still darker than your mushroom. I might use a graphite stick for the fore part of it. I know. Because the way the base, the wood that the toadstools are on, is lit, it's almost like the light is from the left. But the light on the toadstools, there's an extra spotlight on the right, so it is trickier with professional photography because they'll have extra lighting.
More one source.
Yeah. Which is why it always looks so dramatic, I guess. But not good if you're trying to work out how it was drawn. But then they're not taken for us to know how they're drawn, I suppose.
Yeah, you can stop that right now.
Do you know, that just reminded me, Dee, you remember this, every Thursday afternoon pre-COVID, when we had a watercolour class, at exactly the same time of Thursday afternoon, there was a child that would scream and cry at exactly the same time on a Thursday afternoon, regular like clockwork.
So coming out of school time or going to pick something?
Well, I think so, or passing the sweet shop maybe and wasn't allowed a sweet. No, I don't think Sheila's Sweets was there then, I don't. I can't remember.
We had some when the kids, little ones in buggies come into the shop. They yell because it's got good acoustics in there. And
Yeah.
and they can yell and they like the sound of it, so they do it some more.
How do they pick that up so quickly?
I don't know. I think they just yell for some reason and then realise that that's quite. I quite like that.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that. Do it some more.
Dee does remember that, yes.
Does she? It's probably
It's like on Saturdays when you've got the man with his guitar singing The Whole World in His Hands, around about 11:15.
I was sitting in the park a few weeks ago. I walked into town and I thought, I can't go another step, I'm going to have to sit down. So I sat in the park and there was this chap walking round all the cars singing the same song all the time. Got the whole world in his hands.
That'll be him.
Yeah, it drove me mad.
I don't think he
Only
knows.
one
He
verse.
only knows the one verse,
Yeah. Oh,
but he's very happy.
Meanness in that.
I remember her.
I'm trying to get a little bit of texture in this background, but so you can see how it's making the mushrooms feel a bit more delicate, isn't it, by having that dark there. And I think I'll go with a 6B. Is this a 6B? Yes. It's the end that broke off and I had to carve in it 6B, so I knew which one it was. I'm just going to skim that. Oh yes, I've just turned into Churchill the Bulldog, haven't I? Oh yes, oh yes. There is extra textures that I'll just press down a little bit harder with. So the new Aldi is, well, the old Aldi is now a new Aldi and it's reopened.
Oh, when did that open then?
Yesterday.
Have you been?
I haven't, but they looks like, when I drive past, it looks like it's got another floor on it.
Oh really?
Is that what they've done?
That, you know, the front bit, it's now 2 levels, but it doesn't go all the way back. So whether it's just an office or
Office and they've freed up some more
floor space.
Stairs.
Because you remember when they used to have that bargain room
I
on
don't
the
know,
side?
I never really shopped in Aldi that much.
Before they had the refurb, on the right hand side there was an extra room, and that's where they had all their end of line stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
when it moved out of the Isle of Joy down the middle,
Yeah, went into there.
it went into there and it was even cheaper. So I will have to have my paper on this, to otherwise my hand is going to get absolutely filthy. Oh, it's just signage. Is it really, Dee? It's got windows and everything. Isn't that funny?
Alright.
Because I thought initially, oh, maybe there's a cafe up there now or something. Because I thought that's what everybody seems to do now, isn't it? If in doubt, let's shove a cafe on it. That'll...
Not bring the peeps in.
Doesn't sound like ours.
No. They don't want their customers to stay. They just want them in and out.
As quickly as possible.
Which is a good way, isn't it? I'm a bit like that with the shop floor customers. Just come in, pay, yeah, just get out. Pay me some money and get out.
Yeah.
I do love you all, really.
Do you?
Yeah.
I just nobody said it back.
I don't care.
Well, we're all thinking about it. And we want
Yeah,
to
you
work.
you
Oh,
don't
okay, is that what we're doing?
you don't do what I do with anything, with thought of anything in return. And I think this is looking a bit like a cow pat. Fungi on a cow pat.
Cow pat, sourdough, what's the difference?
Well, tastes the same. Oh, I need to remind you as well about the lovely Norma has booked the old auctioneer next Wednesday. She has got a mobile number in this group. I'm reminding all the groups this week. If you wanted a meal with them, I think they're meeting about 12. I'm going to pop down either for a drink, depends if I've got staff or not, but I will be in to say hello and have a drink and what have you for half an hour.
Yeah, I won't have a meal because I'm going out in the evening, but I will go and for a little drink.
So if you want a meal, to let her know so she can book the space. So we've got Liz back next week, haven't we?
Yeah, because she said she's going to go at 1 o'clock to the auctioneer.
Is it Claridge's she's at today, or was
No,
that
was
last week?
Friday, I think. That's why she couldn't come to the lecture. And then she's at Lavenham.
That's it. Oh, Janet's eldest daughter thinks I'm a very nice man. It's amazing what I can do to make you all think that, isn't it?
Does she know you?
No, they don't know. They can't know me, because otherwise they wouldn't think that. But thank you, Janet. She said I'm very welcoming. I tried to be welcoming. Until you know me. No, I do love what I do. It's a fantastic job.
You've done ridges, haven't you?
Yeah, I wanted to make it feel a bit wooden, but it doesn't look wooden because it... Oh, Diana's looks like a scrambled egg. Mushroom and eggs, quite tasty.
Oh, yeah,
Nice, yeah.
Bacon.
Oh yeah, ham, egg and mushroom or something, yeah.
Definitely getting the culinary thing going here, aren't we?
Green eggs and ham, isn't that a Dr.
I do
Zeus?
not like them, Sam, I am. Yes, it is. I bought it for my boy when he was born. My Sam, I am.
I think he rhymes everything, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Rhyming couplets.
I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with pops.
I did go through a phase where I wanted to just everything I said would be a rhyming couplet.
I bet that was annoying for everybody.
Yeah. Yes, it was. I enjoyed it though, and that's all that matters. So now we'll be smudgy sticking the toadstools, I suppose. Oh, that's me, isn't it? I've got to answer that.
Yes. Your secretarial person is gone.
Balance
Probably
me
be
more.
that guy about your
Alan.
Alan about your gas.
You rang twice, didn't you? I'm not discussing my gas. Good afternoon, the Ottery. Yeah.
Harry's always got so much better.
It does, doesn't it? And then I look back at mine and think, oh, that's
I do try, and do you know when he gets that texture like on the front bit?
Yeah.
How's he do that? I don't know, nothing like that.
Asking about classes.
No, that's all right.
Said that posh then,
Was
didn't
it
I?
a lady?
It was a lady.
Maybe it was that lady I spoke to this morning.
Oh, it might be. Although she was asking on behalf of someone else, so it still could be.
Asking for a friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she turns up herself.
Well, the thing is, because we have a lot of classes, but if people haven't been here or whatever, they need to know if there's, you know, what it's like if you've got not as mobile or whatever. And I said for here, it's the stairs that are the problem, not the classroom, isn't it? But then at Wardington, it's all at one level, so there's not even, unlike at Great Broughton where we were, there's not even any steps. I'm just using a putty eraser just to highlight little bits, and I'm just dabbing rather than rubbing. And then we will be shading our mushrooms, as you do, or toadstools. We're not eating them, so they are toadstools. So I'm going to move off that, and I'll probably will only do like a 4B or something. Diana says, has she heard Barry's jokes? Probably hasn't heard my jokes, which is probably why she likes me. What's wrong with my jokes? Anyway, they're amazing. They're hilarious. Don't all agree, will you? Blimey.
No, it depends on your, on what you're comparing them to, though. And what is our basis of comparison?
Well, that's true. I don't know really.
We have this guy that keeps coming in and wishing us a happy Christmas and telling us a joke.
Oh, Malcolm. Is that Malcolm? No.
I don't know what his name is. He normally wears American cowboy hat.
Oh no, don't know who that is.
No, but he's stopped wearing his cowboy hat, and that threw me when he came in yesterday.
He lives up by me.
Does he?
He wears cowboy boots
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
He comes in and tells me all about the American Civil War.
I know him.
Oh
I don't know his
wow.
name.
His name is Phil.
Phil. Yeah. And he told me once about a book I should read about the American Civil War, and nearly every time I see him, he asks me if I've read it yet. Oh, I haven't.
So I don't want to outline this too much, but there are certain areas. However, if I darken behind this mushroom, the gills bit here, that will in turn bring that part of the mushroom forward.
What is that pencil?
I'm using a 3B, but a 4B would work probably a bit better, to be honest. And I'm just darkening a few gills. So I will plug shoplocalonline.org just one more time.
5B or 3B? Which way should I go?
5. And I think if you've got a Shop Happy account, you can just use it. I mean, it's probably a bit glitchy, and I know some of you don't get on that well with Shop Happy, but it is because it's such a small, really small company. I mean, I know everybody there by name, and they haven't got the investment like places like Amazon and all of that kind of stuff, because those sort of places aren't interested in small businesses. Do you know? It's one of those things. Yeah, Visa helped with the website and things, but
What was it that Amazon said they're not going to use anymore?
Visa.
It was Visa, wasn't it?
It's because I think it's
They're just trying
well,
to
they're,
get their costs.
they want their costs down because obviously having one rocket isn't enough.
Well, yeah, true.
But also I think it's a bit of a jolt personally, because Visa spent the whole of last year doing campaigns on shopping local, didn't they?
No, right.
And I reckon
Kickback
it's a
against
kickback
that.
against that. Probably isn't. That's not the
No.
official line,
But
but that's how I feel.
I was going to say that's quite, yeah.
Basically, it's all down to Visa are charging companies more where customers aren't present.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if you rang me up and paid over the phone,
Yeah.
we get charged a bit more, a minimal percentage. I mean, for a company that makes billions of pounds profit a year, they could take the hack, but they're throwing their toys out of the pram and making it like it's all Visa's problem. Whereas Shop Happy uses Visa, and if a small company like that can
So
take
what
online,
can you use now? Just a debit card?
PayPal, probably.
PayPal or a debit card?
I think so, but they'll backtrack on it when
That's
Visa
what I
won't
always
budge. Because I
pay.
mean, Visa doesn't need Amazon.
I always pay by Visa because you seem to have more comeback if there's a
Yeah.
problem.
I think it's more Amazon are getting greedy, Diana, to be honest. I think if Amazon can't support itself on the billions of pounds that it makes on the back of small businesses, then I don't think it should really call the shots. Personally, as a small business who uses Visa, you know, we even accept American Express.
Do you? There's not many people that do that.
What, American Express?
Yeah.
No, because it's more expensive. However, you only get charged when you use it.
Oh, right,
You know,
okay.
so if
No charge to join.
no charge to join American Express, and they often will do special things, you know, for Small Business Saturday. If you've got an Amex card, if you spend in a shop, you'll get money back.
All right.
So it's handy for us to support.
Well, you very
that.
often have people saying, "Would you take American Express?" and going, "No."
No, I've always made the decision to do it, even if it's. I mean, we're only talking like an extra percent. 1% or something like that. And usually, if you've got an Amex card, you're going to spend more than 50p, aren't you, or something?
Yeah.
You'd hope.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Have you shaded some of the stems?
There's one of the stems that, well, actually two. They're two-tone. The bottom part is slightly more woody, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll add that. I mean, I'm not a huge Amazon fan. You can imagine why. I mean, it's useful. However, it's made everybody feel that everything should be available within 30 seconds of ordering it, and normal shops can't fulfill. We don't have a fleet of vans that we can send off up and down the country to fulfill orders. For us, if we get an order on a Tuesday, it's posted on a Tuesday. It's only Sundays and Saturdays, Sundays and Mondays we can't post out because we're not here. But it just piles the pressure onto a small shop that are already struggling, and it's very difficult. And then to see places like Amazon moaning that they haven't got more money, it galls. Especially when during lockdown, that's what everybody was. Amazon was the main.
If they didn't make money over lockdown, then they're honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashamed of themselves.
Exactly. So I just think a lot of it is a bit of spin to try and shame Visa. Just darling.
Happy little son.
They are happy little birdies. I mean, I that's why I'm really supportive of this shop local website, because it allows small shops like us the chance to fight back. Whereas previously you'd have to only know what we sold and go on our online shop. Whereas if you go to Shop Local UK, shoplocalonline.org rather,
It's a bigger shop window, doesn't it?
it's a bigger national shop window, and it means that my paintings are on there.
Yeah.
So I've got a wider audience. If they're just looking for a greeting card or for some artwork as a gift, they'll be able to see what I do.
Some of your paintings, at least I think maybe your paintings are in the shop, or were in the shop. I haven't been down there for quite a few weeks now. In that alleyway.
What, Church Lane?
Is it Church?
Yeah, they won't be mine.
Well, someone had some lovely drawings in
Yeah,
there.
they're not
They must
mine.
be Barry's. Well, you'll have to go down there and find out who they are then.
Well, yeah,
Can you
Amazon.
have yours on that?
I was in the gallery a few years ago, but I don't. When I used to run it, but I don't run it anymore.
Oh, I see.
It was a bit difficult to try and run a gallery, deal with 30 artists, as well as trying to run a shop and teach classes. It was a little bit much.
I couldn't imagine, Barry, quite honestly.
'Cause
It
I
was
have-
like having that place in the Castle Quay, wasn't it?
Oh, that was a nightmare. That was, and they. I mean, it was a pop-up shop. I was only supposed to organise it for 3 months, and then they extended it without consultation to 6 months. And that was really hard to try and keep that going. I mean, it did really well as well before it had the refurb. But it may surprise you to know that dealing with artists is one of the most difficult things in the world.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Why that is? I mean, I can't.
I have
You surprise
I
me.
have never been so. I've worked with 7-year-olds, and that was way better. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my whole 25
Very
years.
temperamental, aren't they?
Well, yeah, and I am being very sweeping because of how I've worked with them. They are very temperamental, but also most artists aren't used to working as a team because it's a solitary
Yeah.
thing, and they've always got ideas of what should be done, but don't want to do it themselves. So it's, what you should do is, or what we need to do is, and I used to go, who's going to do that then? Can you do that? No, I'm not doing it. Well, if you're not prepared to do it, shut up, really, you know?
She never used to draw jugs, we did, but she
Mm. See, that's the
Did
difference.
nail on the edge,
See,
but
that's the difference, isn't it? At least I will always do this lesson To be honest, I remember when I took over an adult education group in the West Midlands. It was an established watercolour group, and the first thing the students asked me is, "Do you demonstrate?" And I must have looked like, and I said, "I beg your pardon," and they said, "Well, do you actually demonstrate?" I said, "Well, yes, of course. How can I teach you if I don't show you?" And they said, "Well, we've had 8 years of a tutor, and we've never seen her pick up a brush or a pencil."
That's true. That's something Ruth never did at the
Really?
mill either. No.
Very common.
Because I think if you begin, you're in a beginner's class. They all say that, and I'm still in a beginner's
Yeah.
class. But the point is, if you're a beginner, you ain't going to know how to do this
No.
or that. You've got to be taught it. Having
It's not
you've got
something
to
you
be
can-
shown how to.
Yeah, it's not something you can tell somebody how to
No.
do. You actually need to see you doing it.
Exactly.
And I was really quite confused by that. But you're right, Robert. A few things I've heard, over the years, is that it is very common for art teachers to actually never do any art.
Well, whenever you see them doing, I mean, not necessarily in a drama or something, I don't know whether it's true, when they're doing like a life drawing and they've all
Yes.
got their easels,
There's never
the tutor's just wandering around out the house.
interestingly, in life drawing classes, there is never any tuition ever, historically, and that's because I think it's presumed that if you that interested in drawing human figures, you already know enough about it to go. So it's that they never geared towards beginners.
I'd like to see that the person that is teaching me actually knows how to do it themselves. I'd like to
Yes.
have some visual proof that they.
Yeah, I'm
They
with
know
you
what
on
they're
that.
talking
I would be more likely.
They make their money by finding naked models.
Yes. Although that's the game to be in, Robert. It's very expensive to be. It's a good money to be a live model.
I think I'm not going to make any money that way now.
It's about I don't know. It's about £20 an hour.
Is it really?
Yeah,
You don't have to be perfect.
and you don't have to be naked.
I should think that.
Pardon?
You don't have to be naked to be a life model.
Oh yeah, but if you're a naked, you've got to be naked, isn't it?
If you're a naked life model, but you can be a clothed life model.
Yeah, and surely they'd like somebody with a bit imperfections to make it.
Actually,
work, rather than
perfectly smooth young skin is really hard to draw, but more voluptuous, wrinkly skin is lumpy, bumpy skin is much easier to draw because you can hide it behind a bit of saggy tummy or something. Whereas abs would be almost impossible to draw.
Oh dear me.
Oh, well done, Diana. Diana actually had a tutor for a life class. That's really rare.
Oh, right, okay.
Really rare. Because also some life drawing classes don't even have any conversation. It's just people sitting at easels.
Well, think what this afternoon would have been like had we not been allowed to talk.
I have known some tutors locally that don't like students to talk. I won't name names because I don't think that's fair. But yeah, when I took over from one of the classes, and I'd be laughing and joking, and we weren't allowed to do that before. You know.
The only voice we heard was teachers before I came in.
No, I think.
I forget her name, but I called her Juggy. Because that's all she drew. Jugs or jars, not drug. Oh, God,
Drugs.
I hope you weren't, Doris. This class is taking a different turn that you were on. Are you sure you're on an art class? And you weren't on remand?
I can't get it up. Was it drugs or jugs? It wasn't
Jugs.
drugs, it was jugs.
Jugs.
Or jugs
Oh.
of drugs.
What a nuisance.
It wasn't when you were on probation, was it?
Oh, you know me so well.
Community service.
No, it was drug. No. It was jugs.
Jugs.
Jugs, yeah. Things that you carry water in.
Yeah, jugs.
But the point I'm getting at is I was bored stiff.
I bet.
Never again.
I think several weeks drawing the same thing would be quite. Can you imagine that on a Monday in Wardington if we just did the same thing for 6 weeks?
Well, think of what we
Especially yesterday's Betty White.
You'd have a rebellion on your hands.
Although if I spent 6 weeks doing the Betty White portrait, I might have actually made it look like it. Yeah.
You make us spend 6 weeks on jugs or drugs.
Yes.
And not improving any
Oh.
either. You know, don't feel like you've actually got anywhere.
No, and especially if you haven't got the tuition to back it up.
Yeah.
What have I achieved losing £135 or
If
whatever?
I this jug this week, how can I improve it next week? I don't know because nobody's told me what's wrong with it.
I was sick of the
Money, Toadstools after.
Wrong floor.
I was going to say, yeah, it was.
I obviously wasn't what she was expecting to see.
No, you're not. You don't look like a standard tattooist or body piercer, Robert. You see.
No. What's the relief?
Generalisation. It could be a very good tattoo.
Do you know, I did make that mistake once. There was an older lady wandering around the landing, and I said, "Are you after the art shop?" And she went, "Yes." I said, "Oh, you didn't look like the sort that would want tattoos." And she said, "Never judge a book by the cover." She said, "I have loads of tattoos, but today I just want the art shop."
Yeah. I'm not looking for the tattoos today.
So that showed me, didn't it?
If there's something I dislike, it's tattoos.
I don't. I think for me, I can't think of anything that I'd want on my body forever.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing, isn't
You know, I don't like pictures on my wall in my house for that long, and yet,
Change them.
yeah, I'd like to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I was going to have a tattoo that I ended up covering up all the time, then I don't see the point in having something that I'm going to cover up. But then I'd want to be able to see it, so it would have to be quite prominent. But then I don't know what I'd want. I just don't. I can't think.
No, I think you should.
It's all that coloured ink going into your bloodstream.
You
and
could
Yeah.
have like a temporary tattoo.
You can have temporary
and
ones.
then
I could
change
do it with a
on regular
Posca pen.
basis.
I've done that. Now I've done that pencil case. I could do my arm. I could have a fly Garrick on my arm in Posca pen. So every time I have a shower,
You painted that,
pencil case.
pencil case,
Yeah,
then?
with paint.
I thought you bought it like.
No, they come blank.
Really?
Yeah, it's just made of canvas.
Acrylics or
Posca pen, which is a paint marker. So these are the pencil cases. I haven't put them out yet. So they're just blank
Oh, they're lovely.
pencil cases.
You do your
Then
own
I put a bit of cardboard underneath, and then did
and
the paint.
painted that, did
Yeah,
you?
you could use acrylic paint, so I use these paint markers.
Oh, I see.
They're quite expensive, but they do last a long time. I've actually got 2 crates of them. However, when I moved around the room to reopen
You
the
can't
classroom,
find them.
I have no idea. They did go home for a while,
I
but they're
wonder
not
if
at
they're-
home. No, they're not at home.
No.
They're somewhere in this room or my little kitchen junk room.
Oh, it's with the junk then. I've got a room like, well, I did have a room like that, bungalow, the bungalow. The bungalow.
Trouble with your teeth or something today? What's going on?
The bungalow hasn't got enough room to have a spare room. God, no.
I'm just wondering, I feel like I should have grass or something in this. Do you know what I mean? It just feels... I don't know.
Where you're going to put it, Barry, I really don't know.
I don't
you
know if it
imagine
feels...
where
I
his
don't know
grass
if I
is
can... What if I...
look, grass or mushrooms or
Yeah.
poppies next.
Yes, yeah. We'll just do the whole lot. So if I just maybe
What made me think that's what you was going to do?
use a bit of an
Trying to
eraser
read
just
your
to
mind.
give a hint of something,
Other vegetation.
other vegetation. So it gives a sense of scale, doesn't it?
Mine definitely looks like mushrooms growing out of a turd.
Well, this is. I'm just concerned about my cow pat, my sourdough cow pat.
That's exactly what mine looks like.
Well, that's it, Janet said she'd have to have something very small because it didn't hurt for long. That would be the issue with a tattoo, isn't it? Is the pain.
But then again, you can get addicted to that pain. I know people. Yeah, I know people that went to have one tattoo and then they're like, oh, I've got to have another one now, because they sort of get addicted to the
Or is it a bit like surgery?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like, yeah, you can get addicted
Oh, I don't
to
think
it.
I can get addicted to surgery.
No, I don't think I could either, but
Oh.
I'd have my eye bags done if it didn't hurt and it was
I've
free.
watched somebody have a tattoo.
You'd have
I've
your
never
what
had
done?
one
My eye
myself.
bags. They're hereditary. I'll grow into them at some point. But it
I
depends.
didn't even notice you got any.
If I've got the light on, this eye bag it looks really swollen. It's quite fatty. But my dad had really big eye bags, and I mean when he died at 56. But when I look at videos of him when he was 56,
Yeah.
he looks a lot older. A lot
I never
older.
ever noticed them in your mum. when
No,
you
Mum
were
had no eye bags. She had no wrinkles. She had a totally smooth brow,
Yeah.
hardly any wrinkles at all. But sadly, I didn't get those
So you inherited
genetics.
your dad's eye
I
bags.
inherited my dad's nose and eye bags, and that's why I always look older. When I was at this Neil's Yard thing, that my neighbour does, because it's all good stuff. They do a good gel for your eye bags, which works for me. It shrinks them a bit, made of white tea and what have you. So I said, oh, I'll have one of them, and she said, oh yes, Barry swears by one of those for his eyes. And I went, yes, because I'm 73, you know. And the lady there said, how old are you really? And I said, I'm only 43. And she went, really? And I thought, she thought I was much older and I was lying. But that's because I was outside in the dark with the spotlight on, which is never very good for me. And I'd got my flat cap on and my tweed jacket. So naturally, you don't expect 43-year-olds to look like they're from the 1940s.
Did you say you were born in 1943?
Yeah.
Or are you 43?
So yeah, I don't think that wasn't a very good advert for the eye gel.
Did you sell match on the back of that?
Yeah, no. But never mind. I don't think I can do any more.
Are you done?
I think so, but I think that looks all right, doesn't it? With the subtle things. Do you remember when we made leaf shapes once with the putty rubber? Do you ever? Where I just squeezed. Yeah, where you just create a diamond shape, and just
Oh yeah.
print a leaf.
I don't think I was here for that.
Is that okay?
That's beautiful, Doris.
Oh, no, okay, it'll be all right.
Okay.
Don't overdo it. That's going to stay.
I wouldn't add anything else because you haven't got mushroom on your paper.
No, no.
Mushroom on your paper.
Honestly, Barry,
No.
it gets worse.
I do get worse.
It's just dry.
There, definitely stopping now. So I'll let you know what's coming up over the next week. Oh, don't forget you need your woolly socks on from tomorrow because we've got Arctic winds coming down.
So they reckon.
Oh, and the
So
weekend's gonna be
possible
awful,
snow
they said.
from tomorrow and Friday
Is that actually
particularly.
here or is that just up
I
north?
think from what I saw on the map, it's going to be cold and windy. I don't think we'll have the snow, but it's going to be a lot colder than we've known
What they
it.
were saying in newspaper yesterday was that a lot of places might be just very wet and have floods. So
Yes, I don't think we'll get the snow, but I think definitely cold wind. But it has been really mild, hasn't it? Really for
I mean,
November,
you can't
November's
really
usually a
moan
lot
about
colder
it.
than what it's been.
and a lot wetter.
Yeah.
We've avoided that. So tomorrow morning is a fox in the snow in watercolour. Tomorrow afternoon is Stonehenge with a rainbow in watercolour. Friday afternoon is a red dinghy in Perranporth Beach in watercolour. Monday morning is Winter Trees in Waddington in watercolour. Monday evening is Stonehenge with a rainbow in watercolour. Then Tuesday afternoon is acrylics.
I
And
was
we're
telling
doing-
that lady this morning, you do all sorts of different media, and now you're telling me it's
Everything's water. I'm having a watercolour week. Tuesday afternoon is a snowy woodland walk in acrylics. Tuesday evening is a wintry forest walk with rays of light in acrylics. And then next Wednesday is Waddington Church in the evening in pencil. So that'll be a nice. I'm not going to say perspective
because that'll frighten people off.
because that'll scare you.
Well, I'll
But,
do whatever
um,
you say, Barry. I'll be here.
But it'll be nice to do some angles.
Unless, of course, they send me for these X-rays. then.
Yeah. Well, we expect you or don't expect you. We expect you
Yeah.
if we see you.
I'm hoping I'll be here. I'd like to
You're
do
here
that.
next week, aren't you, Sue?
I am.
Yes. And Robert, you'll be Tuesday, I
Unless
guess.
I get stuck at the pub.
For acrylics. Yes.
Well, I won't see either of you then.
With a liquid lunch and stagger
Have a
across.
liquid lunch and
Dear oh
it'll be
me.
interesting to see if that has any effect on the
On your painting.
On your picture.
Or you won't care.
No, exactly.
So, thanks ever so much, everyone. Let me shrink the screen in here because it's my control panel.
I've enjoyed that, Barry.
It's nice, isn't it? But I think without the dark background, I don't think it would work, would it? It
No.
wouldn't look as delicate. But I will, of course, take a photograph of this and post it underneath the reference. Oh, good, Janet. Did they work better for you? Diane, how was your first lesson? Your second lesson?
Who should be coming back from?
Will you come back? Because I think her first lesson was a really tricky one.
Was there?
Yeah.
It's done well to come back then.
Oh, she's got graphite powder everywhere. Well done, Diana. That's the
what
best.
we like to hear.
That's the best thing. You're supposed to get in a mess with that. What was your first one? Was it the arch? Oh, it was the archway in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was tricky for your first ever drawing one. So hopefully this was a bit easier. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the pencils, Janet. They are wonderful. Janet decided to get the Caran d'Ache
Oh, has she?
pencils.
Does make a difference.
It does make a big difference.
What's the difference between them and what we use, or what I use?
They're much softer, so you get darker tones much easier.
Oh, I see.
But they are more expensive, but they do
I can imagine.
work really well.
Mine are Smiths, I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. Does he know?
They don't make your hands give your hands a better control.
No. Yes, unfortunately
True.
we can't sell the control. Otherwise,
That's why we come in with you.
yeah, yeah,
In the Mac
to try and learn the
will.
try and learn the control.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll get there. So thanks ever so much, everyone. It's been a
Thank you,
lovely
Harry.
afternoon. I will get this onto ArtStream as well. So if anybody you know wants to do this within, generally by 5 o'clock, 5:30, that this has made it onto the pay-per-view. I don't know why I've never called it a pay-per-view channel, but it is, isn't it? ArtStream pay-per-view, because you pay for what lesson you want and you get sent the link. So technically it is pay-per-view.
I'd like to try Barry, but I am just no good on
No, I know. It's tricky in the interweb. So see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.